Welcome to part 3 of the video. In this, I would be highlighting a very important fact which is mentioned on page number 6 of the report. And that is a very starking fact which I got to know. And I was like, oops, how come this fact was not discussed in CNN, BBC, Bloomberg, and other channels? Because Bloomberg, I can guarantee because I watch that almost 10 to 12 hours in a day. And I not been through this kind of statistics which is being provided by Janus Henderson in this page number and 6. I'll show you the chart also so that you can see what kind of data I'm referring to. See this chart. Guys, do you know what this chart is talking? But before this chart, let me read a paragraph for you, which is very important paragraph. Even before the pandemic struck, the world governments ran deficit in every of last 25 years. So I told you 25 means from 1995 to 2020 because the statistics provided is of 2020. So even before the pandemic struck, the world governments ran deficit in every of the last 25 years. So all the Einsteins, Edisons, Newtons, those who are claiming that because of the corona, the world governments need to borrow a huge quantity of the money, and this ends up in a big deficit, then don't misguide us. And by the way, I'm saying this from the last several years that this is beyond convention, which corona is just an excuse. I would say corona is just an excuse as far as the central government's debt are concerned. So it's a mere excuse which is taken up by the governments. As spending ran ahead of tax collection, debt rose inexorably from 16.7 trillion in 1995 to 53.3 trillion in 2019. Thus, an increase of 4,371 US dollars to 11,187 per person. Now this, the index represent 67% of the global population. The world economy also grew substantially, underpinning the debt with the largest tax base, but the increase in sovereign debt has nevertheless means in spite, outstripped economic growth by a fifth, which means if the economic growth is $1, assuming, then the debt is $5. And this point I'm raising many times in the last, I raised this point many times in the last several years, that the governments worldwide are raising a huge quantity of money. And not only the governments, rather selected countries, corporates, like as we speak on 16th March 2022, around 2 months ago, the world saw Evergrande. and many such real estate companies of China. Many such real estate companies of China. Now, at a given point of time, Evergrande was having near about, I would say, 324 billion. You heard me very right. 324 billion worth of debt balance sheet. And see what happened. Today, if you look at Evergrande share price in Hong Kong, it's in cents. Cents. And Evergrande is not the only company. There are numerous companies we have in that regards. Numerous companies in that regards. But anyways, this is a live example that, things are beyond control now. But what happens that people hardly bother. Like, for example, the government's almost managed to balance the books during 2007 economic boom, just before global financial crisis, but within 2 years, which means 2008, 2009, they borrowed $1 out of every 15 they spent. As a result, the growing debt mountain was worth 70% of the global income by 2019. 70% of the global income is debt. %70%. And this figure is as of 2019. Unfortunately, the present statistics is not available, but it won't be conducive. You know that. And let's talk about this chart, which is a very healthy chart to discuss and much to deliberate. According to this chart, by 2025, which is estimated figure, the total debt of the globe, sovereign debt of the globe, might end up reaching 80 trillion. So today is the figure provided is 2020, which is 62 trillion, 62.5. Now by 2025, which means 5 years from these figures, it would be 80 trillion, which means a jump of not less than 18 trillion. 18 trillion. So 18 trillion worth of debt to be added in another 5 years. If I go with this report, because the statistics are provided as of 2020. This is not conducive figures. I don't think that, and I don't know why the big channels like CNN, BBC, Bloomberg, and many, they are outrightly rejecting these figures. I don't know why are they outrightly rejecting these figures, because once I see these figures, I was like, what the hell? Not the report, what the hell? Basically, where are we heading? Now in English, there is a line called directionless heading, which means that you are heading, but you do not know where are you heading. Now this is called directionless heading to me. Because by 2025, according to the estimate figures, which is 5 years from the statistics provided, You are reaching to 80 trillion of debt, which by the way is a huge number according to me. Probably not to you. See you in the part 4 and very stark realities.